All right. I am going to preface this video and start with 100% full transparency. I don't give a damn about Oklahoma. All right. And I'm sure many of us are in the same boat there. But with that being said, I do feel obligated, or I do feel moved to comment on, the situation that happened yesterday at the Oklahoma State Capitol. For those of you who don't know, it was insurrected. No, let me stop. I mean, whatever. A gang, a group, a large mass of LGBTQ, BDBG, BCBG activists formed at the Oklahoma State Capitol and made entry in large quantities, shouting things about stuff that they want. No, I'm pretending to act like I don't know what it is that they're standing for, because it's such a mushy group of individuals, and it's at such an unselect location. But essentially, across the nation, trans activists have been attempting to stand up and plead their case for their rights in states to have surgeries and basically less restriction on transitioning. And then I'm sure some of them are even aiming for government funding or subsidizing these kind of things. Well, I for one don't want to pay taxes for aesthetic surgeries, elective surgeries that are purely aesthetic, plastic surgery, breast implants, nose jobs, rhinoplasty, all these things. I don't think that should be coming out of our taxes. However, grown adults that want to make themselves look like a shark or want to make themselves look like David Beckham and spend $30,000 to do so, you're weird, but you were never not weird. And you are definitely mentally ill. But who isn't mentally ill these days? Being trans is a mental illness, but so many things are also mental illnesses in this day and age, that the thing that makes this more harmful from my perspective is people's willingness to allow someone to physically mutilate themselves to feel like something that they will never be in actuality, like a man doing whatever he does to his body to make himself transition into a woman, even though he never will be one. And, people from that side, say that it's about making them feel more comfortable in their own body. And then they bring in the ideological aspect of it, where they say, well, it doesn't matter what you look like. There's so many contradictions to the rules, first and foremost, even from their end, if you wanted to buy into those kind of things, which I have no intention to, because it's invalid, to be quite plain with you. I'm not going to sit there and play those games. You can call me hateful. I've been called hateful for much worse things and much easier things, and I've been through way worse situations. And that, like, this internet stuff literally makes me laugh because I've actually been through real things in my life. So, yeah, I mean, one thing I did want to speak about is obviously all the conservatives, comparing it to January 6th and calling it an insurrection and stuff. And it's just like, I understand what you're doing. I understand that you're doing this so that you can later point out the lack of the inaction from the government or authorities to do anything at the actual event itself or any type of investigation. Do I think that people are going to be found at their homes and arrested and placed in solitary confinement and things like that because of this? No, I actually don't. Do I think that is unfair? I'll be honest with you. I really am not at this time given a darn to compare, hey, this is fair and that's not fair. Dude, this is Oklahoma and you're talking about the United States Capitol. Granted, similar actions transpired at both locations, but Oklahoma, Washington, D.C. Do I have to point out the difference to you? We have to get the, obvious differences out of the way before we can discuss any nuance to this situation. But unfortunately, at a mass level, all of the nuance will be lost in tribal warfare. Like most things, like most stories these days that go on in America, every time that we have a fight about the Grammys or Oklahoma or Chinese spy balloons or whatever it is where it causes internal fighting, we're not the only ones who can see that. I think that that's the most important thing that we should be mindful of when we talk about these situations. Because if America looks the way it does to people who are in America, people who love America, people who want the success for America, can you imagine how it looks to people who are preying on their downfall? I mean, the wolves are just licking their chops. And I definitely understand why. We are serving ourselves up to the world on a silver platter. All because we can't get our head out of our hindquarters, our Sam Smiths, and realize that whether we got blue hair or nose piercings or dark skin, China is still a much worse place.